electing members of parliament and local representatives. So what are the political and diplomatic intrigues of this election, and of what interest is it to Kenya? Well, KTN senior political reporter Murimi Mwangi reports from Hargeisa, Somaliland.
Acclaimed as an island of peace and stability in a notion of political turbulence and insurgency, the Democratic Republic of Somaliland has for 30 years now been embroiled in a unique identity crisis that has been followed by a quest for global recognition as a sovereign state. Somaliland broke off from the mainland Somalia after the fall of Mohamed Siad Barre's regime in 1991. And the 5.2 million citizens of the semi-autonomous state will be making yet another stab at global recognition, as some 1.3 million voters head to the polls to pick 82 members of parliament and 247 municipality representatives. An election whose measure of democracy Somaliland hopes to use in its quest to certify its sovereignty.
Well, failing to recognize Somaliland has been a great loss to the international community. They chose to spend money and recognize failed states like Somalia.
It's actually a historic election. The Somaliland young generation who actually born during the referendum of this country are actually now eligible to vote. The Somaliland youth are actually those who are working in the polling stations.
Somaliland has been a critical Kenyan ally, with the relationship between Hargeisa and Nairobi being a major source of friction between Kenya and the Federal Republic of Somalia. Somalia has severed diplomatic ties with Kenya on several occasions in recent years. Kenyans living in Somaliland's capital, Hargeisa, will be following Monday's polls keenly.
Muhimu ya hii election ya local government na parliamentarians ni kwamba leo hii nchi inataka kujionyesha demokrasia yake katika Afrika.
Unajua tunataka kubadilishwa kwa ile watu ilikuwa kwa kazi kwa watu wengine mpya. Sasa kwa hiyo watu mpya mimi najua inafanya kazi mzuri sana inshallah.
Somaliland's three political parties in the polls are opposition politician Faisal Warabes Ouid, Wadan led by another opposition leader Abdirahman Erie, and President Musa Bihi Kulmie Party. Murimi Mwangi, KTN News, Hargeisa, Somaliland.
Well, Murimi Mwangi is in Somaliland covering the election for us and now joins us for an update. Murimi, to you.
Service hall, one of the main polling stations here in Hargeisa town, the capital city of Somaliland, in the ongoing parliamentary and municipal representative elections happening here. The very first time that this country is holding the two elections simultaneously, and it's easy to tell the excitement of the 1.3 million registered voters participating in this election by just looking at the turnout here. Long queues stretching way back, and remember the polling stations today opened as early as 7, whereas from 5 in the morning, a number of the voters were already here waiting for their chance to cast their ballots.
Tulikuja hapa leo asubuhi mapema sana kupiga kura ya member of parliament na council. Sasa iko mzuri sana, tunapanga line na inaendelea vizuri.
It's a competition like a football. We hope to win, but there is always the chance not to win as well, but we expect to win.
And this is the polling station where the main political supremos here cast their ballots. The very first one, of course, was the president as well as the two opposition leaders here. Remember, this is an election that strictly involves only the three political parties here, the ruling party and the two other opposition parties.
The Somaliland election is much more better in security, in performance, in major parties, elections in the continent of Africa and in some parts of the third world.
This will be the beginning
of the new era for Somaliland after this election. And I'm thanking you for the Kenyans that who came here. I hope that you can spread and expose our strength.
It is an election that beyond filling the 82 parliamentary seats and the 247 municipal representative seats also seeks to paint a picture of a mature democracy for the Republic of Somaliland in line with its continuing quest for global recognition as a sovereign state, having broken off, of course, from the mainland Somalia in 1991 at the peak of the dictatorship of the toppled leader Siad Barre. And on this election day, quite peculiar because the streets are clear. The only vehicles that are allowed on the roads are those with the special passes from the Electoral Commission. And this particular election, even speaking to the key participants here and key election observers here, is one that is closely watched by the international community, of course, ahead of the presidential election that happens later next year. Reporting from Hargeisa, Somaliland, I'm Muremi Mwangi.
Thank you, Murimi Mwangi, for that. Well, that leads us to a short commercial break here on Bottomline Africa.